I want to talk about the Unknown Number documentary. My name is Gingera Mitchell, and I am also a survivor of maternal violence. I have a lot I want to share about this topic and about all that we saw happen in that documentary. So number one, I'm so glad this documentary exists because I think it's so important that we bring attention to these kinds of situations because they are happening and they happen right under our noses. When a mother is abusive to a child, it is the perfect crime because that mom, like we saw with Kendra Lakari, knows how to say that they love their child, that they love their daughter, they can play the card, they can get involved, they can make it seem like they love their child. And who questions a mom who says they love their child? We don't do that as a society. And on top of that, the children love their parent. So the children is going along with this charade. Like, even after poor Lauren discovered her mom was this person who had been harassing her, sending explicit messages, telling her to kill herself, talking about sex to her through the text and about her body anatomy. So inappropriate. Even when the cops knew that the mom was guilty, they let the mom comfort the daughter. We watched this dynamic play out in real time. They let her comfort her. What a confusing thing. They didn't set the bar of like, this is an abusive person, get the fuck away from Lauren. They were like, but you're still her mom, so yeah, you did a kind of shitty thing, but oh well. I'm willing to bet that if it was discovered it was a male perpetrator, they would have quickly been like, get your hands off of that girl and walk away. I'm sure everyone would agree with that, but because it was a female and because it was a mom, she was still allowed to set her hands on her daughter. People are confused when they see that Lauren loves her mom still. There's this phenomenon that can happen, and I feel it sums up my childhood very well, and I think it's what's happening here with Lauren. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Oftentimes we've heard of Stockholm Syndrome in the case of someone who's been captured, forming a bond with their captor. Like a really famous example of what people think might be Stockholm Syndrome is Beauty and the Beast. So Belle falls in love with the very person who has been holding her captive. So that's an example of Stockholm Syndrome. But another example of Stockholm Syndrome is when we love someone who is hurting us, when we love an abuser. So I had Stockholm Syndrome all my life. It is how I survived. Unfortunately, it led me to be in multiple abusive, awful situations. But it's how I survived my childhood. I had to love my abuser. I had to love a person who was harming me. There was no other choice. I think that's what's happening here with Lauren. We want to love our parents. And this mom is creating the most confusing atmosphere because she's telling her daughter she loves her. She's comforting the daughter. That feels good when you're being attacked, but then it's the same person attacking her. And can you imagine the psychological mind warp of that? I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. And I experienced that in my own household. My mom was abusive, but she was a motivational speaker and she was a public icon, and she liked to talk about how she loved her children, how being a mom was her favorite thing. But meanwhile, behind closed doors, my mom was a very different person. I was absolutely terrified of her. She would drop me off at my uncle's house who was doing inappropriate things to me. And when I told my mom what was happening, my mom's response was, "It's the devil you know." And she kept dropping me off at my uncle's house, and that was the end of the discussion. And then on top of that, another layer of the psychological stress of it all was when my mom would watch the news and there would be like a pedophile figure on the news, she would be like, that person is sick. You have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. There are so many sickos out there. Meanwhile, she was the person dropping me off at a sicko's house. There's a lot more layers that I'm not going to talk about in this current video, though I want to build the courage to talk more about other things that I could say on that whole topic. The point is, from a survivor, from somebody who's had a complex mother-daughter relationship with an abusive mom, we want to love our moms, you guys. Like, everybody wants to love their mom. You want to love your mom. It doesn't matter if your mom hurts you, you want to love them. But what I do hope for Lauren is that she can find the courage to see her mom for who her mom is, and that is an abusive person. Her mom doesn't seem like she's wanting to take ownership either, because the mom is like, oh, well, you drive drunk, but you just didn't get caught, so we all do things. No, we don't all abuse our children. We don't all send psychotic texts and have elaborate schemes to hide our identities. That's not something we all do. And her mom saying that in this video is actually really interesting because it's a live example of something that sociopaths and narcissists do, which is what we call crazy making. So they find their behavior and they justify it, and they justify it in such a way that makes everybody else more guilty somehow. Somehow everybody else in Kendra's mind is worse. Everybody else has something that they just didn't get caught for, and she's just the victim because she got caught. That's it. That's all. She's made that clear. She's not a healthy person, and she doesn't seem to feel bad for any of the things she's done. Point is, thank you to the Unknown Number documentary. Thank you to the filmmakers for showing it. I hope we can open this conversation. I hope other survivors can speak out. And Lauren, I'm sending you so much love, and you deserve so much better. And one day, I hope you find the healing that you deserve.